In this day and age of borderless communication, YouTube has been simply brimming with creative, entertaining, and outright addictive content, often created by one or two people. And in that international playground of creators, K-pop has been a hot item of the late. We've seen hundreds of channels delivering the latest in K-pop. And among them, DKDKTV certainly stands out as the rising star of K-pop content. With a mission of digging deeper into the Korean wave, DKDKTV is run by the creative duo David Kim and Danny Kim. Their first upload was 3 years ago, which only started out as a hobby. It only took them 1 year to turn full-time. They respond to fans' requests to address the ins and outs of K-pop. DKDKTV serves as a window of insight into all things Korean, from entertainment and culture to lifestyle. The interview meets with these rising stars of the YouTube world, DKDKTV, who are bringing the Korean wave to every corner of the world. Hello and welcome to the interview. I'm Kim Min-jung. YouTube has become an important source of information and entertainment for millions of people around the world. So when YouTube meets Hallyu, or the Korean wave, it can become quite explosive. And today on our interview, we're sitting down with two YouTubers who are leading this phenomenon. Welcome to our program. Great
Thanks
to have you on the show.
for having us.
Hi. If you could tell our viewers about yourselves a little bit.
Well, my name is Danny Kim. I run a YouTube channel called DKDKTV, and on our channel, we dig deeper into the Korean wave.
And my name is David Kim. I run the channel with him together, and I would call myself a K-pop YouTuber and influencer.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. Now, like you said, DKDKTV, what does it stand for?
Well, it's basically just Danny Kim, David Kim TV. So it's DKDKTV as an abbreviation. So
Okay,
We
nothing
were
more than that.
very lazy with the naming.
Pretty self-explanatory. Daniel and David.
Yes.
All right, well, great to meet you. So the number of subscribers exceeds 410,000 already. So how long have you been doing this?
We started YouTube for 2 years. It's been 2 years. I think our YouTube channel started exploding after like 100K subscribers. So it's been a pretty rapid journey since then.
I see. When did you know, wow, this is it, we're doing this, really taking off?
I think when we hit 100,000 subscribers, YouTube gives you a little bit of a present. It's called Silver Play Button. They give you like a button that's covered in silver. You know, when we got that, it felt like, okay, we're something now. We're somebody. We exist now.
Made a mark in the world.
Yeah. So at that time, I think we were both thinking, okay, maybe we can really do this as a job.
I know many of your viewers are foreigners. So what more can you tell us about your viewership?
Our viewers are spread all around the world. Mostly they're from North America or the regions that speak the English language. But other than that, we also have a big following in Southeast Asia or basically all around the world. So I think we're a pretty global family as our channel itself. So
how do the viewers react differently or similarly in terms of their reaction from different parts of the world?
It's very difficult to describe because like there's so many different regions, but I think a lot of our North American viewers, they enjoy content that really digs deeper into like the social issues or a lot of more serious topics, whereas a lot of the Asian viewers, maybe perhaps it's because they have a language barrier with them that makes it difficult to understand the deeper
Political
social issues that we discuss on our channel, but they tend to enjoy more of the entertainment aspect of our channel, it seems.
Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting. Now, like you said, you deal with various subjects and topics, including K-pop, of course, Korean culture, Korean people, as well as political and social issues as well. How do you go about choosing the topics you want to discuss?
When we were beginning our YouTube careers, it was just us trying to find what people liked. But now, because we have so many people, they just constantly message us on like, oh, you should make a video on this. And when we get enough messages of a certain topic, then I'm like, okay, let's make a video on that. Usually that's like one of the ways we get topics for videos.
And also for the K-pop sector, the K-pop industry is really fast, and they put out a lot of MVs and new music every week or every month. So as soon as a new MV just pops out, we just see that and see if it's worthy to explain or we could add any kind of value to it. So it just works that way.
I see. Now, there are many channels dedicated on Korean pop, of course, because of the popularity. What makes your channel unique and different?
We dig deeper. We dig deeper into the Korean wave. So basically what that means is that what we found out was a lot of the K-pop channels on YouTube, they interpret K-pop and they enjoy K-pop on a very surface level, like the looks, the visuals, and perhaps the lyrics. But what we want to do is perhaps take that into a deeper level of explaining the social context so that the listeners of K-pop, fans of K-pop, can enjoy the song not just as the song itself, but in the context of how a Korean person might view it.
For example, there was a song from BTS called Spine Breaker, and in the surface level, nobody knows what the term spine breaker means. But for Koreans, it's translated into 등골 breaker, which was a social kind of issue where kids were asking their parents to buy them expensive clothes and stuff. And BTS was talking about that, but the MV was kind of in a comic sense. So like the international viewers couldn't actually really get the message behind that MV or the song, whereas it has a very deep message behind it. So in these kind of examples, we try to dig deeper and explain the social context behind the lyrics, and international viewers perceive that, so they're very satisfied with it.
Very interesting. Now, you also do a lot of translating with the lyrics as well. Whose idea was it, and how do you go about doing that?
Well, it was my idea, right?
Yeah, I'll give you credit.
It was my idea. I saw a lot of these translations on Twitter of K-pop songs and K-pop lyrics, and a lot of them were mistranslated, and they were being taken as the de facto translation. I saw that and I was like, okay, these are all mistranslations. I can translate better than these. And I really wanted to give the K-pop listeners something that they can rely on as a source. So I wanted to become that source.
Translating lyrics can be challenging. Do you also seek advice from lyricists or other source?
Well, we actually do all the research by ourselves, and it is a very thorough process. So it takes like 5 to 6 hours to finish an analyzation of one song itself. And for example, if we just use the example of BTS Idol, which is the most popular song these days, it had so many social contexts and wordplay inside it, and we had to dissect the MV itself. So like basically we just go on Google and search what we can get from it, and we actually search the news as well to dig deeper, and we get the social context, attach it to the lyrics, and just scramble them up and narrate it. So it's a very thorough and long process, I would say.
To be honest, like there's a lot of times where we're kind of scared that we might be wrong.
Yes.
And I guess that's just part of the process. Like sometimes you just have to admit that you got this wrong, but most of the times we're pretty accurate, I would say.
Was there a time when you felt like you weren't sure of what you're translating?
The thing is, a lot of K-pop songs, not all of them have a very deep meaning behind them. Actually, a lot of them don't have any meaning behind them. We try to interpret a lot of like very casual listening K-pop songs, and that didn't go so well. We kind of overanalyze stuff.
Yeah, so I think that's the problem. And sometimes we overanalyze so much that we miss the simple points.
Yeah.
For example, there was a song called Siren, and then we basically just thought it was a siren from an ambulance, and then it was like, it's a warning and stuff. But the K-pop viewers just saw it, and they're like, isn't this siren meaning the siren from the myth, the mythology in a Starbucks? So like, oh, how like how could have we missed that? And then we were a little,
Yeah,
embarrassed.
we're wrong. Sometimes.
Sure,
I'll
everyone
admit.
makes mistakes. Now, you also go out there and meet with celebrities and interview them as well. Tell us about how that process goes.
Well, I think it's basically about increasing our influence first. That process has to be the core. And when we started doing YouTube, we started gaining subscribers fast, viewers fast, and our name just spread out. And then it just naturally happens like that. So companies or media entities just contact us and say that you have an influence. Would you like to be our host for a show? And then they get the connections and they get celebrities or K-pop idols onto their show. And we've actually hosted some shows with a lot of K-pop idols. So, like for example, if Arirang wants us, we're totally down for that. So
Actually, I really want that job.
yeah, please call us.
Well, you're kind of looking into my job. So
I'm sorry.
I want to know if you have any interesting episodes that you can share with our viewers in terms of going out there, meeting with stars.
Oh, so there's this actually, I'm very passionate about this one group called Big Bang. They're actually my bias, we call it that. And I've been following them for 10 years. For the whole 10 years, I haven't gone anywhere near them, like physically. But after starting YouTube and after getting a big following and influence, I actually started to become exposed to the companies, like the entertainment companies, and I got this amazing opportunity to actually participate in one of the Big Bang members, Seungri's, like music video filming. And then I actually went there and talked to him and filmed together, and it was just a mind-blowing experience. So yeah, that was one of my best experiences.
For me, we were in the front row for an awards show, a music awards show. We were basically out there like high-fiving the artists that got the awards. Like we were on the pathway. I can't really prove this because we didn't talk, but BTS, their leader, RM, he gave me a little
Wink.
Nod.
as if like, oh yeah, I watch your videos. I'm pretty sure he watches my videos.
It might be an illusion. It's
It might be just me thinking
You could be
it's that.
imagining it, but who knows,
Who
right?
knows? But like we make a lot of BTS videos, and I do know that BTS watches a lot of YouTube, and our fans send a lot of links to BTS. So
Sure.
maybe if you're
Right.
watching, RM, hi.
Now, since you're rubbing shoulders with all these big name celebrities now, how do you keep yourselves grounded and down to earth?
I mean, this is a very hard question because actually we've never thought of ourselves as that big. Like we have a lot of potential and we have a long way to go still. So I think that thought itself is not inside us yet. Yeah.
Now, on a different topic, you also broadcast the Interkorean Summit, I believe. So tell us about what you wanted to deliver by doing that particular episode.
It was a very big event for us, but not only us, but for the entire world, right? So I just thought, like, as Korean YouTubers, it's kind of our duty to show them these kind of events that really affect us and impact us. I just wanted to give the first-hand experience of this huge event, historical event that was happening there, and I felt it gave a different perspective, perhaps, to viewing it via CNN or other news sources.
Sure.
Because if you look at it via news, it's just like another news, right? You don't feel the emotional connection towards like the event, but I just show my true reactions towards it. And to be honest, I was like really skeptical about the whole thing, but I got very emotional once I saw it. And I think the viewers also got the emotion, through my video. Like, oh, this is not just a typical news event. Like, this is just something that really affects the emotions of people. Yeah, so.
Sure. Many news outlets did cover the Interkorean Summit, of course. What do you think your channel, your episode added to the many coverage out there?
I think it adds the human element. News sources, they talk about the details and the facts, but they don't really show reporters don't show their emotions. Like, they're not going to cry on TV because they saw, Kim Jong-un cross the line or something. For us, it's like we're showing our just true reactions as just civilians. So I think that's the biggest difference. Yeah.
Did you cry?
I teared up a little, to be honest.
And you showed that on YouTube,
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
channel. That's the human element, like you
Yes,
said.
yes.
That's probably why that keeps your fans keep on coming back for more, right? Now, you're meeting with the Korean survivor of the Hiroshima atomic bombing. How did that come about, and what message, again, did you want to deliver by doing that particular episode?
Well, at that time, a K-pop group was under controversy, under fire for wearing a T-shirt that depicted the atomic bombings, and actually many Japanese TV stations canceled their TV appearance because of that. And the online community, the K-pop fans were all fighting about like Korea versus Japan, and like, is this okay? Is it okay to wear this T-shirt? And is like, what does the atomic bomb mean to Korean people? In this debate, we forget about the people that were actually affected by the bomb. And I wanted to take the discussion to a different aspect, since we're talking about the atomic bomb at that time. Like, I wanted to shed light to somebody who wasn't really highlighted in these kind of discussions. And I felt that that was the people that had actually suffered. And actually, I believe about 30%, I could be wrong, 20 to 30% of the victims of the atomic bombings were actually Korean. But Korean people forget about that, and they just think, oh, it's liberation. So I wanted to shed some light on those kind of people who normally don't have the spotlight.
Now, like these topics, you like to venture into some sensitive and touchy topics as well. Why do that? Why not just stay in the comfort zone of K-pop?
Well, we're pretty divided.
He doesn't like it.
I'm more of the entertainment guy, and I'm more of the lighthearted and happy virus of this channel. And then he's kind of
The sad virus.
no, he's the more
Depressing
serious
virus.
and more into social issue kind of guy. Yeah.
Controversial.
So why do you dive deeper into that?
I think we have 400,000 people watching us, which is more than I would have ever imagined. And I think when you have that many people listening to you, yes, entertainment is great, and I love entertainment, but sometimes, from time to time, you could use your voice to, better the society, or to show some people that have been neglected from society, stuff like that. And I think this is part of our duty, it feels, for me at least.
Sure.
I'm sure he doesn't feel it.
No, I share the same feelings.
But he doesn't appear in those videos. That's the thing, if you noticed.
Is there a reason why you choose to stay away from those
Well,
controversial videos?
I don't know. I just like, my life motto is to stay away from negativity. I'm not saying the videos we did are about negativity, but a lot of them are on the line. It's very dangerous to talk freely about these kind of things with your own opinions without educating yourself. And I'm actually, to be honest, I'm actually afraid of speaking my own opinion and getting a lot of hate comments or a lot of controversy around that. So I'm just like, I'm good at doing K-pop. That's my thing, so I should just stick to it and make people happy. So that's what I do.
Right, I want to know, how much studying do you do to make sure your videos on controversial subjects are not biased or are not untrue?
So the reason why we don't make a lot of those videos is because there's a lot of research that has to be done. K-pop explanations, if we get them wrong, it's not the end of the world, but if we get something wrong in those kind of videos, it could affect an entire group of people, right?
Sure.
So I do a lot more research, like days and days. When we were making the Hiroshima video, I did about 3 days just researching on the topic. Even then, it's like you have a little bit of fear of maybe being too biased. And actually, that Hiroshima survivor video, it was funny because a lot of Korean people were giving the reaction that, why are you doing this? Why did you make this biased video? Because they don't want to admit that these people exist, a lot of them. We get a lot of that, but I think that's just part of speaking the truth and speaking your opinions. People will hate you, some people will hate you, some people agree. It's just the reality.
Now, David, what is the most memorable episode for you so far?
You might know that I'm a happy guy now, so I'm gonna pick my most memorable video as, it's a video called us reacting to misheard lyrics. So a lot of international fans watch K-pop videos, but they don't understand what the lyrics are. So they put out versions of their own like translations, and it's like totally wrong, but it's hilarious. So I watched that video, and then I just cracked up for an hour or so. And then I think the essence of YouTube is just enjoying your job and just doing what you want. And then at that moment, I felt so true about my job. I'm like, wow, I'm just laughing, enjoying, and then people see my video and people laugh because of me, and then I'm just spreading this whole lot of happiness and joy and laughter. That's my most memorable video, I think. It got like 800K views or something.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I want to know which episodes drew the most response from your viewers, perhaps unexpectedly.
Oh, this is pretty funny, but actually our most viewed video is a video called What Koreans Think of India. This is very out of the blue. How it happened was in our early phase, we just put out K-pop reactions, and we didn't expect that much of reception from Indian viewers, but there were a lot of Indian followers. And then they started saying like, why don't you try Indian MVs or Bollywood movies and stuff? And we started opening to that. And then we made Indian content, and it just blew up, and it got the most views.
They do have a lot of people out
Yes,
there.
yes.
So.
That was very unexpected.
All right. Let's talk about you two now. How did you meet? How did it all begin?
Like a marriage story.
It's so cute how you're shy about it.
We're college buddies.
Okay.
So we went to the same major. We're in the same year. We went to the same school. And basically, we were both working at our jobs. I quit my job because I was so tired of it. And he was still interning, but he called me up and said, okay, let's have a drink. And we were both just frustrated with our jobs and at our situation at that time. And then he had come back from Singapore recently, and he saw how big K-pop was there. And he also knew that YouTube was getting really big at that time. So he was like, why don't we make a K-pop YouTube channel? And I, at that time, was just looking for something new, just something different to do. And since I major in broadcasting, I was like, okay, I want to make some videos while I'm at the school because I want to make something out of my major. So that's how it started. It was just having soju, and that changed my life, basically.
It did, didn't
Yeah.
it? Both of you majored in journalism and broadcasting. So was it your dream to work for a TV network?
Initially, I wanted to become an announcer, a reporter. And as I started studying journalism and media and blah, 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 I wanted to become a content creator as well. So I had like two divided dreams, and I was like thinking, how am I going to grab both of these? And then I look at myself now, and I'm a YouTuber, and I'm sort of reporting on YouTube and making content, my own content. So I think I've grabbed both dreams, and right now it's like my dream job. So I'm pretty satisfied with myself.
I'm pretty similar. Like going into broadcasting major, I wanted to become a TV producer because I wanted to have a platform where I can send out my message. That was really important to me. Like that was my end goal. And now I have a platform where I can send my message out to 400,000 people. So very nice.
Not bad,
I'm enjoying it, yeah.
And you two signed some kind of pledge contract
Yes.
saying you will not get a
Yeah.
job elsewhere. What's this about?
I can't trust this dude.
He's just joking, but I think it's all
joking.
about professionalism. Because if you want to be serious about some kind of matter, and especially if it engages with money, especially, I think you have to be really professional about it. And we just signed a legal contract between ourselves to restrict from either one of us like escaping this boat.
This prison that is YouTube.
So like I think that contract might be a little like strict and tight, but at the same time it motivates us and keeps us together. So I think it's like a good thing.
Yeah.
How do you divide responsibilities?
It's basically 50-50. We just split the workload. And for filming, we just film together, or for the Explain series, which only requires one narrator, we just take turns on taking videos and just goes smoothly like that.
Yeah, it's just project by project.
I see. And also about income?
Income, yes, it's basically 50-50 too, but for special cases, like if an individual has a special connection to a sponsor maybe, and he gets the sponsor to our channel, then that person gets a little bit more of the portion.
We actually have like a 3-page worth
Contract.
of clauses because I can't trust this dude.
No, it's better to be meticulous when it comes
I think
Right.
instead of fighting afterwards, it's better to just lay it out there first.
Exactly.
Sure, sure. Now, filming and broadcasting can cost a lot, and I hear that the Seoul city government sponsors the studio and some other, it does provide support. Tell us about that program as well.
We're under the support of the Seoul city government. We're under a program called Creative Force. They incubate these YouTubers and content creators, provide them with office space. The studio we're in right now is provided by them, and the Seoul city government connects us with small businesses to do branded content and stuff like that. So they really help us out, and especially in the beginning when we didn't have a portfolio or anything, they accepted us and allowed us to use all this great equipment and stuff like that. So
There are many content providers, of course, out there. What do you think is the difference between a foreign content creator and a local one who does K-pop and other Korean culture
Well,
contents?
honestly, they're all content creators, so it's very hard to divide them. I think one technical aspect would be if you watch domestic or Korean content creators, they actually root from live streaming services. So they do a lot of live streaming and they do a lot of talk, real time with the viewers. And then after that, they re-edit those live streams and re-upload them. So that's kind of a different culture with the foreign or US YouTube space and content creators. And whereas like foreign creators just film their own content, like plan their own content, and then just make it into like one concrete video. So I think that's the biggest difference for me.
I see. How often do you upload your videos, and how do you deal with the pressure of having to upload every now and then?
we upload at least 3 times a week. We try to upload at least 3 times a week. I mean, the pressure is very, very great. It's like we just have to do it. It's just our job. So we can't really, make excuses for not doing it. But sometimes we actually used to upload daily. Can you believe that? So we have about 700 videos that we've made for 2 years.
Wow.
That's crazy, right? And when we were uploading daily, we were just pumping it out there. But then we figured, okay, this is just burning us out. We can't continue doing this. So we've actually toned it down a notch to a more manageable level so that we can keep our creative, motivation behind us.
I see. Well, YouTubers are quite popular these days, as you know, and people assume that you guys make a lot of money. So if you could dare to venture into that area as well, is it sustainable, your lifestyle?
This is every single interview we get this question, I think. Everybody's so curious. Even like we teach.
Because it's a new territory.
I know,
Right.
like we teach in elementary schools as well, and even the elementary school kids, they ask us, how much do you make?
Huh.
It's crazy. But yeah, we can sustain ourselves. It's very sustainable at this point. I think we're better off than most people our age. At the same time, I just want to tell people who want to do YouTube that it takes a long time of making a lot of content for no money until you reach that point where you can get sustainable, income.
Have you ever wanted to give up in that period?
Actually, a lot of times, because as he said, we had no revenue for at least a year, and then at those times we were unsure whether our channel would blow up or be successful at that point. So we always had this kind of anxiety inside us, like whether is this going to work out? And then we signed a contract between ourselves saying that we're not allowed to get normal jobs, and we're just wondering, where are we going? Are we going anywhere? We're not getting any physical, money, touching any money. So that was a very hard process.
Yeah.
I want to know how you deal with negative feedback. I'm sure you get a lot too.
Yes.
As much as you get positive feedback.
Yes.
Well, in the beginning, we kind of got hurt from all the negative feedback or the hate comments. But as we grew and grew bigger, I think I kind of grew numb to it. Like right now, we've gone through so much stuff. We got so much negative feedback and hate comments that like these days, if someone says like you're ugly, it's just like nothing to me. So these days, I try to convert the negative feedback into positive feedback. Like even if it's a person that hates us, there might be a reason that person hates us, and I try to analyze why this person hates us and try to like reflect it in our videos for more improvement. So that's how I deal with it.
I just cry.
You just
Under
cry.
the blankets, yeah. They hurt my feelings still.
Well, one-person media is really booming, and really all you need is a phone and a desk maybe to get it going. So do you ever worry about staying afloat with all the competition coming?
These days, YouTube, everybody's trying to be a YouTuber, right? So there is definitely a lot of competition now. And sometimes when I look at the competitor channels, it's like, oh man, I have to push myself further and further. It's a constant competition. Here's the thing, like whenever I wake up, I check the subscriber count of my channel, and then I check the subscriber count of the other competitor channels, and I'm like, okay, I've done better than them today. So I'm good. I'm good for the day. But it's very stressful actually.
Sure.
It's not healthy, I don't think. No, right? So
It's not.
I think that's just part of the job, to be honest. I don't want it, but it's just part of the job. Yeah.
Who's your biggest rival?
I don't want to promote him or her. So I don't want to mention him or her. But there's a few that I watch every single morning. I have a lot of imaginary rivalries, I think. I'm a little weird in that way. So I have a lot of people that probably don't know I exist, that I look at their content and it's really good. So I try to push myself to become better than them. And I think that's what really drives me to really change up my content when it's getting boring and stuff like that. So.
Sure. What's the downside of being a popular YouTuber?
I guess the more we get popular, the more we get more people watching us. You have to take into consideration a lot of different things, because when only a little bit of people were watching us, like only a small number of people watching us, you could probably say anything and people wouldn't really care. And the people that only liked you were watching you. But now, since we're up to a point where a lot of people know us in the K-pop community, we have to be really careful with our words because they impact a lot of people. And I think it's starting to become like more from a personal experience to a more of a public experience now. Like YouTube is not a personal space for us anymore. I think it's more of a public space to discuss with other K-pop fans. So being careful with our words.
And to add to that, as the more we get popular, the more attention we get and more eyeballs we get. And these days, social media is just connected to everything. And if we get a bigger YouTube following, that means a bigger Instagram following where we upload our personal stuff. And in that kind of field, when we upload personal stuff, a lot of people watch those kind of stuff and they kind of intrude our personal space. And that feeling is very uncomfortable, actually. So, like, for example, celebrities date with each other and that becomes such a huge news. When in ordinary life, people dating is not a big deal. But when we start dating or something, for example, like our fans would come in, who is she? Like, where did you meet her? When are you going to marry her? And these kind of questions like get fill up our head, and it gets suffocating at some point. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Now, there are concerns rising due to some violence and sexual inappropriateness on YouTube as well, and there are voices saying that there should be stricter rules and regulations. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a very crucial point that should be made, and the regulations and laws against very sexual or violent content should be regulated very fast, because there have been very bad cases already regarding these kind of issues, especially towards kids, because the YouTube space is unfiltered and everybody can access that kind of space, including kids. And kids are just seeing these kind of violent and sexual content unfiltered, and that's just wrong. So at this point, I think content creators should self-regulate themselves too, and YouTube should get a very strict regulation system.
Personally, I'm anti-censorship, so I don't believe in censorship of content. However, I do believe that kids are also exposed to these kind of content that might be inappropriate for them. So I do believe that there is already guidelines and options that you can set to make sure your video isn't viewable by kids, but it's just that most YouTubers don't follow it because they know that a lot of kids watch their content, so they don't want to lose the views. So I think it's a problem with YouTubers like following the guidelines mostly.
Sure.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for an aspiring YouTuber?
Don't come, please. I don't need any more competition. I would say the number one thing that you really need to get down is what are you trying to say on your channel? What makes you different? I teach a lot of aspiring YouTubers or people wanting to make videos in schools and stuff. And the most common thing they say when I ask them what kind of content do you want to make is, oh, I want to make vlogs. Well, vlogs is a very wide and diverse genre, right? So I think, it's good that you want to make vlogs, but you need to have a specific goal or mission or message that you want to deliver so that makes you stand out. It's not just like you're taking a slice of your life. You need to do something, I think that's the number one thing that people should consider. Yeah.
Personally, I think the number one thing is being consistent, and that being consistent means uploading consistently and being consistent to yourself. And I think the core where that consistency comes from is from enjoying. So like you have to really enjoy what you're putting out, what you're filming, what you're planning to keep on going and keep on fueling yourself with motivation to keep on this YouTube career. If you do not enjoy what you're filming or planning to make content about, you just stop in the middle because you're not making any money and you're getting stressed and you're physically tired. But if you sincerely enjoy what you're doing, you can just keep on doing it and being consistent without thinking about revenue or anything else. So being a YouTuber is, I think, just going for what you like and what you enjoy. So yeah.
You now have this power of influence. How do you want to use that you've gained through YouTube?
Our biggest goal right now, I think, is we want to give K-pop listeners who don't understand Korean a deeper enjoyment of K-pop songs and also Korean culture. So like I want, Hallyu to have more deeper roots than just the surface level of enjoying, the visuals or, just the music and stuff like that. I want people to be concerned and thinking about our society itself. Because like, I always use this analogy, like when we think about America as a cultural superpower, we not only like America just for its Hollywood movies or its music, but we also like America because it has a very diverse culture and it has its own set of problems. But to the foreign eye, those own set of problems look, I don't want to say attractive, but they're interesting. They add to the culture. And I think Korea currently, the Korean Hallyu is too focused on the surface level, delivering the good stuff and the tourist attractions, the positive stuff. But I think to make our Hallyu more, interesting and diverse, people need to know about the problems that exist in our society and the social context of which, comes out Hallyu as a result. So I think for us, what we're doing here right now is showing them the diverse social context that exists in Korea so that they can have a deeper understanding of our culture and also appreciate it even more.
Yeah, I totally agree to what Danny said, and I share the same thoughts. Since he said all the fancy and good things, I'll just say something simple. And my mission statement from the beginning, starting YouTube, was just as simple as I just want to spread love and positivity and happiness, because the more we grow popularity and influence, the more people watch us. And if that's like, if our videos are enough to make a person in the U.S. or Africa or whoever to just make them laugh, give them an extra laugh at the end of the day. I'm just satisfied with that because, like, who can do that? You know, like for people who are alone, they don't have any people to meet, but they rely on YouTube and they watch our videos. And we actually got a lot of messages from our fans that they're curing their depression through us and they're becoming happier and they enjoy our content so much. So whenever I see those kind of messages, I think the main goal for us and our influence is to like spread happiness and more joy to the people all over the world. Yeah.
I know you two have grown up in many different countries, exposed to many different cultures as well. How has that affected you and your view of Korea and in what you do?
I think that allows us to have a more of an objective view in Korea. Because I've lived in a different culture, entirely different culture, that allows me to kind of compare the pros and cons of each culture and think about like, oh, maybe, like what happened in Korea, like how would have Koreans reacted to it compared to how would have Canadians reacted to it, stuff like that. So I think that allows me to have a more objective view.
Do you have examples of views, conflicting views of Korea that you found in interacting with the viewers on the country, its culture, and its people?
A lot of people have this fantasy that all Korean people look like K-pop idols or K-drama actors. They have this fantasy and carry it to Korea and get disappointed about it. And that's not the case, right? So I think people should focus more on the inside culture and what's lying really inside in the core of like K-pop music or K-dramas than the visuals or just the fancy things you see on dramas.
Is it part of your ambition to set the record straight when it comes to wrong information about the country and its people?
Whenever a big event happens in the K-pop world, a lot of times what will happen is the Korean reactions will be completely different to the international reactions. And right off the bat, because they think so differently, the international fans start attacking Koreans because why are they thinking this way? They're so close-minded. So what we try to do is try to bridge the gap between the cultural differences. So whenever a big events in K-pop, controversial events like that happen, we try to explain why Koreans are thinking this way, why they are reacting this way. So to explain the social context and the historical context so that the international viewers can at least understand the Korean people's reactions.
What do you think your viewers want to know most about Korea and its culture?
I think they want to learn the deeper traditional / historical elements of Korean culture. I was very surprised because even myself as a Korean, I kind of neglected those elements. But usually the videos that get the biggest responses are the ones where we mention those kind of historical elements or very deep down elements deep down in Korean roots. Like, for example, Han, do you know?
Sure.
Like, that's a very Korean emotion. It's very difficult to describe.
Sure.
But the Western audiences are very, very interested in that concept. So stuff like that, stuff that I would never imagine them being interested in, very, very Korean stuff. That's what they're most interested in. And I think it's because surface level elements, it's very easy to understand, and a lot of people, there's a lot of sources explaining those things, but for those deep down elements that are more difficult to get, there's really no source to truly understand. So yeah, I think
those intangible emotions,
yes,
or those that are difficult to
yeah,
describe.
Yeah.
How do you interact with your viewers to reflect their needs and their voices in your videos?
Well, basically we use the comments as a vessel to interact with our viewers, and they say whether our content is good or bad, and they give us feedback, negative or positive, and we just like look at the comments and we also reply to them. Other than that, we also have like a group chat or a donation page that is for exclusive people who really want to support us in a financial or in an advisory kind of way. We just like actively engage in those kind of diverse communities with them, talking about what we can do to improve our channel or just like any kind of stuff. Yeah.
Sure. Do you have messages from your viewers that made a lasting impact on how you do things?
I mean, we get a lot of messages from people who have depression and people who are sick. But there was this like one girl that messaged me, and she was like 16 or something, and she had a lot of like suicidal tendencies, and she actually tried to commit suicide multiple times. But she said that her mental health issues are actually getting better. She's getting cured by watching our videos and laughing through the day. So she actually told me that our videos make her go through the day. And, you know, I was extremely amazed and also very sad for the girl, but I was shocked to find that, you know, I just make videos because I like them, and I never thought of this as like a tool for curing or helping out somebody with depression and other mental health issues. So after that message, I started to divert my views on how my videos might impact people, because now I see it as like something that people can rely on, and that was really shocking for me.
Now, what ideas do you have for Korea as it ventures into the world and as it wants to promote itself, not as just as a pop powerhouse, but just as something else, something bigger, something more important?
I want Korea to promote its lifestyle more. Like, we're right now stuck in the phase of promoting our pop culture, our tourist attractions, and those are all good, but I think to have, like I said again, have a deeper enjoyment and deeper appreciation of all those aspects that are on the surface level. We need to dig deeper into the deeper elements, and I think the next thing that we can promote is the Korean lifestyle. And I'm sure a lot of people think, and it is in some parts, Korean lifestyle is not that pleasant. It's very hard work. We're very, very hardworking people. But I think that element itself can be some kind of attractive thing to the foreign eye. And I used the example of America earlier. If you think about New York, people idolize and really fantasize about New York, not just because it has the Statue of Liberty or the Empire State Building. People actually want to be in New York and live as New Yorkers. And even though the New Yorker lifestyle is somewhat very expensive and it's probably not that great, but even that is an element of fantasy, and people idolize that. They think it's a very attractive thing to do. And I think right now we're stuck in the Statue of Liberty phase, but we need to go in deeper into the lifestyle phase, and that's what we're here to do, helping that out. Yeah.
In my opinion, I think I agree to Danny, and I think a lot of people are neglecting the rich traditional culture of Korea. So I wish that we could touch more and dig deeper into traditional culture, such as Hangul, or more cultural heritages like Talchum, that recently like BTS has engaged into their choreographies and music, and people are going crazy about it. So that just shows a potential that people all over the world are interested not only on our pop culture, but our roots and our cultural heritage. So I think we can be an ambassador for these kind of cultural heritages or other aspects of our rich cultures, and not only just focus on the spotlight we're getting globally right now, but actually spread our rich and long-living culture. Yeah.
Yes, like you mentioned, you are de facto ambassadors and diplomats. So talk to us about the sense of responsibility and also pride that you feel in assuming that role.
I feel very proud. I mean, I'm not the most patriotic person, but I feel very proud that these people are watching our videos and gaining a deeper appreciation of Korea, And not only that, but they are actually traveling to Korea or deciding to live here. It's pretty crazy the number of emails we get. Like every single week, there's a lot of people emailing us, messaging us, saying, "Oh, I decided to come to Korea because I saw your videos, and they portray Korea as like very rich experience." Whenever I see those emails, it's really it's like I did something. Yeah, I actually helped out this country and brought more people in. So yeah, it's definitely I'm very proud of it.
Now, how do you propose to keep the Korean wave alive and well into the future?
Fund YouTubers. But in all honesty, like I talked about how people are coming to Korea because of our videos. I do think that there needs to be some kind of support and acknowledgement towards Korean YouTubers who are promoting Korea outside.
I think we should not follow the big trend of the whole global society. Like, for example, following the musical trend of pop music in the US. So I think we should be more true to ourselves and be more true to our roots. And as I said before, we should be focusing on our traditional traits or what we can actually utilize from our rich culture more than just trying to follow what's popular out there. So K-pop and K-drama should show the vision of a very unique society, the things that only Korea can have other than whatever you can find around the world. So I think focusing on those kind of details and very cultural aspects are the key to expanding K-pop and K-drama culture. Yeah.
So to add on, I think the biggest thing that draws foreign fans into K-dramas and K-pop is that it's so different. It's so exotic to them. It has a very distinct feel, and it's like you can't see that anywhere else. What happens in K-pop. And I know like a lot of labels try to emulate the American style, what's being hot in America right now. But I think like the reason people enjoy K-pop is because it's so distinct. It's its own genre. So for me, I wanted to say to them that just keep being more Korean. Being more Korean is the way to go. Right? Yeah.
Talk to us about your future plans as we wrap up the interview.
We have a goal of becoming the #1 Hallyu YouTuber in Korea, and I think we have to achieve that goal this year. So our goal this year is having 1 million subscribers, but more important than the number is having that firm position of being the guys, the ambassadors of Korean culture to the international audience. And we'll keep making videos, I think.
All right. Well, best of luck to you, and thank you so much for your time today. That was a lovely chat I had with two YouTubers who not only want to scratch the surface of K-pop and Korean culture, but really unveil the inner layers of what Korea has to offer to the world. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back with another guest next week. Bye-bye.